Hey Brooke, what's going on? I am so excited to get to hang out with Kelsey Foster and hear a little bit about her story and a little bit about what's going on in her life. So Kelsey, give us a quick little bio about who you are, how you came about the Brook.
Cool. Okay. I am Kelsey. I am from Florida originally. Grew up in West Palm Beach. Went to Florida State for school. Moved out to Denver in 2014, and came across the Brook over the summer while I was browsing through Instagram, like a lot of other people that came across the Brook, and it just looked like a really awesome community. So I leaned into it and made some awesome friends over the past few months, and I live up in Lohi and work a corporate job and also have another little side gig on the side.
So awesome. Well, yeah, we're so excited to get to hear your story today and kind of about, even today we're going to talk about profession plus purpose and just how do we find our purpose and our calling in life. And so we just wanted to hear a little bit about Kelsey's story. And so tell us right now, like, how did you get into your current job? What is it? And tell us about that.
All right, so my current job is probably a career that a lot of people don't even think about or may not want to share openly, but I actually work for a paper manufacturer, and
Dunder Mifflin?
I wish.
Okay.
I wish. Not nearly as cool, but we work for, or I work for a paper manufacturer that supplies products for commercial industries.
Okay.
So
cool.
Oddly enough, paper towels, toilet paper, soap, sanitizer, the things that, again, people don't
Quality
think about.
Toilet paper? Like
Quality.
Okay, so 4-ply?
Not quite.
Okay.
But I got into that after I went to Florida State. I was part of kind of a business nerd, and I was part of a sales team competition. Got introduced to the company with an internship, and then went on board with them full time in 2013, and then got moved out to Denver for that role in sort of a national sales position with them now.
Cool. Yeah. So, because you work for a paper company, you're like, it's not that glamorous. So when you hear the word purpose, where do you find purpose in your life?
That's a really good question. And it's actually I've been thinking about that a lot this past year, like probably everybody has in a pandemic. What is the purpose of all of this? And I've found that where I find purpose is connecting with people, whether that's family, friends, new friends through the Brook, coworkers. I find that just getting to know people on a human level, an individual level, and sharing anecdotes and lessons that we've both learned, and just kind of learning from others, and being able to be lifted up from them, and vice versa, is kind of where I find purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, because I think you've kind of shifted through this pandemic. You've like started asking big questions, which I think we've all asked these big questions of, what am I supposed to be doing? Is life all about just binging Queen's Gambit, or what is this all about? And even in our careers, especially when we're young, when we're in our 20s, even our 30s, it's sometimes hard to figure out, is this what I'm supposed to do? And so you've kind of taken on this new endeavor. Share a little bit about your new endeavor and your new kind of like path in that.
That's a fun thing to talk about. So nobody thinks about their purpose more than someone that sells paper towels for a living, or toilet paper for that matter. So it was kind of one of those moments where I thought about what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis and what I want to do through my relationships and just throughout my life. And so 2019, during the summer, my friend Hannah actually came to live with me in Denver. We were roommates for a couple months, and we went out to have dinner, had a glass of wine, and just started talking about, like, what is the purpose of our careers, and what do we want to, what legacy do we want to leave behind, basically. And we both have this creative outlet that we really wanted to try to channel. We both are, like I mentioned, I'm kind of a business nerd, so I've always wanted to start my own business.
Yeah.
Turns out she did too. Turns out we have a very similar faith background, and that she's an amazing person. And so we decided then and there to start this business. And basically what we've created is, it's called Wear Collective, and it's a mission-based online boutique. And the premise and the hope is to spark or foster joy for others through products, through encouragement, through growth, and all of the above. So it's starting as a boutique, but we have a lot of really big plans and big dreams.
Is there anything for me in your boutique?
There's a lot for you to buy Molly and
so
decorate
cool.
your new home. So
I'm not your target audience.
Not quite yet, but we're
Not quite
like
yet?
I said.
Okay.
It depends.
I
on
gotta
your
get older.
interest.
Okay.
I mean, would you wear these?
No, I'm sorry.
Not.
No, those are awesome. So those are in the boutique.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So as you think of like this new endeavor that you're on, I think one of the big things, because I've started new things, there's always this fear in you that what if it fails? Mm-hmm. Like, what if this thing just tanks? Why is it worth it for you just to go for it?
That was probably the main feeling when we first started, and we were so scared to start it because we wanted to make sure everything was perfect, and can be a perfectionist at times. So it was like we didn't want to launch until we knew everything was going to be great and it would be seamless. Well, welcome to starting a business.
Yeah.
Nothing is seamless. So we really actually we've had some mentors in this process, and two of them are amazing Christians, and they had a conversation with Hannah and I at the very beginning, and they really just encouraged us to let God kind of lead it, and it won't fail, and if it fails, it's not really a failure because we'll have learned from it, and we can repurpose that learning to something else.
Yes.
And honestly, at the end of the day, if we, like I said, it's a mission based, so there's we contribute to a nonprofit, which has been honestly the most incredible part of it all.
Yeah.
And so as long as we can support them, it's the products are really it's all kind of a moot point. So
that's super cool, because I do think it holds us back thinking, oh, what if it fails? And then I agree with you. We all try to go, it's got to be perfect, it's got to be like this, but if you've ever started anything, it never is. And it's just being okay with that, going, what's our, I don't know if you've heard of the term minimum viable product. What can we just create and get it out there and see what the world might react to it? And so super proud of you guys for just taking the risk and actually just putting something out there, because you are, in any business, you're putting a product out there, but you're also putting yourself out there.
Oh, is that not
Which is super difficult, because you're like, and you can be super insecure. So that's so cool that you're doing that. And I love even your purpose behind it, that God feels like it's in it, that God's directing it. Just maybe unpack that for a quick second. Like, how do you feel God's in this?
It might be a shorter answer to say how God's not in this, because it's just centered so much with that. For example, a couple weekends ago, Hannah and I got together. She came into Denver, and we had a vision session of looking back, kind of what we've done so far and what we want it to become. And we were so excited, and we started off the day. It was like 7 a.m. We woke up, and we were so excited to get to this vision planning, and we just turned on worship music, sat there and prayed for about 30 minutes, kind of bawl crying in the process, and just so excited to see what will come out of it. And to your point, it is scary. It's super, you have to be very vulnerable, and it's, I didn't realize how much you put yourself out there in front of people that you know and people that you don't know, and building it off of our faith, and with that as kind of the basis of it all is even almost more vulnerable for us. So, it's pretty much, it's gotten more centered around our faith and the overall mission, more so in the past 6 months or so with these two mentors that I mentioned.
Yeah.
So, and that's the one thing we've loved about this process, is so many people are just pouring into us with encouragement that it's really humbling. Like it's just been incredible, and all we really want to do, and this part of our long-term goal, is to be able to connect to other people to get that same kind of encouragement that they've
That's
given
awesome.
us.
Well, thanks for being vulnerable with us. I know that so many people that are listening right now are probably really encouraged, challenged, pushed to maybe take that step that they've been putting off. And I love what you said I think that so many times when we think of job, career, we can only think of money, and that's our guiding factor. And after a while you go, okay, it's not about just money. Now we need money, and need that to survive, but you guys are linking it with a purpose, and that purpose is greater than financial gain. And one of our values at the Brook is just radical generosity. We want to be crazy generous. And I love that you're using your business to be generous, because the world needs more generosity for sure. Okay, 20 seconds as we close. If you had one piece of advice to give to people at the Brook trying to find their purpose, what would you give the advice to them?
Yeah. A couple days ago, I talked with a friend about this. I was kind of thinking about this interview, this conversation, and it kind of surfaced that there's this concept nowadays that everybody, it's kind of this should be mentality. Like I should be at this point in my life. I should be married with kids. I should be traveling, doing all these things, or at this point in my career. And honestly, don't let that impact what you want to do with your life, and let God lead you in that, and you won't fail. And again, if you fail, it's only society telling you failed. You're still gaining so much from that, and what you will gain from that and grow from that process will just set you up to succeed in more ways. And then also, one thing that's been an interesting question a friend asked me recently is, what is my version of success? So I encourage you to think of that for yourself and try to figure out what that means for you in your life.
Okay, so if people want to find your boutique, how do they find it?
WHERE collective.com is our online shop. And then we also have an Instagram, which is where_collective.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks so much, Kelsey. We appreciate you. Love you. Thanks for the interview.
Yeah.